got from all seasons and everything. I'll take one of them off the top of my head because I can go for anything. We are the Hamilton County Master Gardeners. Is there anybody here that's for the first time for our first certain classes? Okay, good. How'd you hear about us?
Oh, wait, I took one of the classes during COVID, one of the master classes.
Oh, okay, she did, okay. Well, every third Saturday, except for December, we have a class here at the Ag Center, and it's on something to do with gardening. Now you might think, okay, bows and gardening, but what pops off the wreath and all the other decorations better than a bow? So this is what, and we got Skeeter just recently joined with us, and we found out her talent. We decided we had to use it because everybody needs this. Now if you are out there in Zoom land, then if you be sure that you're on our email list, and everybody here is signing gave you an email list, and so you'll get a newsletter at the first of every month that tells you what the Master Gardeners, where we are and what we're doing. Today we are in Sunny Daisy at the festival up there. Everybody stops by and needs a question answered or anything about gardening, you stop by our booth. I think it's number 112 or something like that up there. Then next week we're at another festival that's in town. That's going to be it's a medical actually seminar, and they have a lot of vendors to come in there, and we'll be there talking a lot about gardening safely with a lot of things on that one. And then next month, this is the one class that you do have to sign up for because we can only take 30 people in this room, and that is our live wreath making class. The Master Gardeners donate all of the greenery and also the ribbon, unless you have your own special ribbon and you want to bring that, and then our very special bow maker will make a bow for you. If you haven't already learned today, or you're out in Zoomland, you're going to come later and learn how to make the bow. And all we ask you to do is that you bring a grapevine wreath, an empty grapevine wreath, and we never ever actually charge for our classes, but this year we're going to have to charge a little bit because all of our supplies was stolen out of our building out here. And so we have got to go and get all new supplies and everything, all our cutters and the wires and everything we've got to have for the class. So we're going to ask for a donation of $5 to $10 or whatever it is that you feel like that you can give us for that to help us to pay the costs. We've always done this. We do all of our classes free because we're volunteers. But we did come up against a little somebody that decided they wanted our ribbons more than we did. They just went to the stuff over there. They didn't even want to do it anyway. So there will be a small little fee or donation, we'll say, for the class. You can go online and register for that starting probably next week or whenever Carol puts it out there, the sign-up sheet. Puts it out there. Now then, I'm going to introduce you today to this is Skeeter Gallagher, and she is a graduate of our MGHC course of 2022. So she's a brand new member with us this year. She grew up in Texas, and she was always involved in gardening and animals. As a young person, she was in a local 4-H program and later in the FFA program, the Future Farmers of America. Her great-grandmother was physically challenged, but she was a big influence with her gardening. After serving in the Navy, her and her husband moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He attended art school, and she got a job at a local nursery. She said she attended the community college in the evenings, and through one of the instructors, she learned about horticultural therapy. I began searching for a local program, she says, and she assisted with the Pittsburgh Veterans Hospital. After that, she was contacted by a private organization for the homes for 6 adults with mental challenges. And in each of those homes, she developed programs to help them, gardening programs for each of the homes on the therapy. We, as the Master Gardeners, also have a program which is horticultural therapy for our veterans here, and one of our members does that. We started that several years ago. It's used in a lot of ways. And we have a program here in Chattanooga sponsored by the Master Gardeners that works with our local VA A few years ago, her and her husband moved into Northern Virginia, and she was a volunteer there at the Extension Office in the 4-H Clover Bud Leader, and then got so busy that all of her activities, her volunteer activities stopped. They decided, she also just doesn't tell you, but she was working at the Pentagon in 9/11. And so that was a traumatic experience for her at that point in time, as it was for all of us. In 2019, they retired and chose, of all the places in the United States to go, the map was Chattanooga, Tennessee. So she says we have everything here. We have mountains and lakes and rivers and hiking and trails, and we're within an hour or two of the rest of the world. So we welcome her. We're glad she decided to choose Chattanooga. And of course, then COVID hit, so everything was shut down after they got here. But it opened back up again for the Master Gardener program. And so she got involved with that. And we are very fortunate to have Skeeter as a member. She has already been so active in our spring and fall festival, the expo. She's working at the Bird Elementary School. She's also been at Factory Farms, Chattanooga Food Bank. And I've been up here a couple of times. She's watering our demonstration gardens out here.
Yes.
So we love Miss Skeeter. So I'll stop now talking and let her start teaching.
Well, thank you and welcome everybody. Who's made bows before? Okay. Well, I will tell you, I am not a professional. So I don't, professionals may do it differently, but I'm going to show you the way I learned. And I learned how to make bows when I was volunteering with the residential homes for the mentally challenged. We had to have a winter project, and what better project than wreath decorating. So I quickly went out and learned how to make a bow, because you can't have a wreath without a bow. So I went and did that, okay? The other thing, from all the skills I learned during that time, bow making has stayed with me, basically because I'm cheap, okay? Just so you know, when you go to a craft show or a craft retail place, if you have a wreath and you have a ribbon, okay, how they charge you is I might use half a roll for this and I might use 1/4 of a roll for this, but I'm going to charge you for the whole roll. And then all my supplies, I'm going to then multiply it by 3 or 4 times. And that's what you're paying for. And I was like, why do I want to pay 4 times the amount when I can make it myself? I also like to make my own wreaths because as you decorate your home, your tastes change over the years, okay? This grapevine wreath here, I've had for like 40 years. Recently, I got it out and was dusting it off and it looked a little pale because it's so dried out. I got out the spray paint and I spray painted it, okay? That wreath over there is like 35 years old and all the decorations have fallen off. But you put a new bow on it, put a new ribbon on it, and you got something fresh, okay? And you saved money, okay? So as we go through, you can start to see, okay, how can I? And I love to personalize. My main floor, when you walk in, this is the first thing you see at Christmas. Because my colors are blues, white, and silver.
You're Jewish.
And I not only use it on my wreath. Have you ever got an ornament and put it on the tree? And it's a beautiful ornament. I have ornaments from all over the world. And I have some glass ornaments from Germany. But you can't see them because they're dark and the tree's dark and you can't see them. So I make little picks to go behind the ornament and now they stand out. But the other thing is when you repeat your ribbon, you're repeating your color scheme and coordinating and connecting your decorations from my banister to my tree to my front door. Okay, so you can personalize it to your colors because you might not be able to find the right color, buying a store-bought item because they typically come in reds and greens. So if you want, you can do your own color and then make it for you. So before we begin, I want to talk to you about ribbon. Now, some of this may be a little basic, but I want to cover it for those who really have not gone down that path and bought their own ribbon. So before you make a bow, ask yourself some questions. What is its purpose? How big is it going to be? Is it going to be for indoors or outdoors? Am I going to use it one time or multiple times? Okay. Because I'll tell you, my favorite ribbon is wire edge ribbon, because I can take this off of the wreath and I can pack it away. They get squashed. And then when I bring them out in the season, I just take 2 fingers and just gently fold them out, and they're good as new. Okay. So you can do that for your fall decorations. I decorate all year round with ribbons. So I'm pulling out constantly new stuff. So, and also too, how large is it going to be? Is it going to be small? Okay, the smaller it is, maybe you don't need to use wire. Large, you're going to want to use wire to hold its shape. If you're going to use it over and over, you want to make sure that it is wire so that you can fluff it back up. All right. Next, basic supplies. This is really important. A good pair of scissors. Sharp scissors is your friend. If you have a dull pair of scissors and you go to cut through a piece of ribbon and it doesn't do that, don't use them. Because if you're sitting there going, and then you get a jagged edge and it doesn't look good. So good pair of scissors. The other thing you want to have are wire cutters. They don't have to be very large, just a little bit of set of wire cutters. I also keep handy a little pair of needle nose pliers, because for decorations and picks and things like this, you might need to bend a wire. And as we're talking about wire, this is very important. Florist wire is really good to use, okay, but you've got to make sure that it's the right gauge. This wire is a 26 gauge. It's not good for bow making, okay? It's too thin, and it will probably break as you're twisting it tight. This here is a 24 gauge. It's better, okay? My favorite thing to use are pipe cleaners. They're the right gauge, they're pre-cut, and you can color coordinate them. So I love pipe cleaners. So when I go buy ribbon, I go from that department over to the pipe cleaners and pick out my bow picks, my pipe cleaners to go with it, okay? And a yardstick, okay? Not a ruler, it's only 12 inches long, and we rarely cut anything less than 12 inches. And I don't like the tape measures that you have to push down, because all of a sudden they're rolling over and you lose it. A good flat yardstick, and one of the bows we will be demonstrating today, this will come in handy. Okay, now a little bit about your bows, real quick. You can enhance things. This is a really cheap little candle ring that you can see through. You put it down and you make different things, and you can use your ribbon to kind of hide that. You can enhance baskets with your bows. I will tell you, this basket is very special to me because of this guy right here. those mentally challenged adults that I helped with horticultural therapy, one of the houses gave me this. So this thing is like 35 years old. But put my bunny in a basket with a color coordinating bow. Oh, and when I worked at a nursery in Pittsburgh, a German lady made ceramic eggs, and I have that from 1984. Okay. So I keep things a long time. Gift bags, vases. Last summer, my neighbor had a stroke. And his wife commented that she couldn't garden. So when I would cut flowers in my yard, I would cut some flowers, put a bow on a recycled jar and took it to her, and you would have thought I gave her $100. She was just so thankful, and it was like, no, it's a recycled jar with just a little bow on it, okay? And we'll learn how to do gift boxes, okay? So there's a lot of things that you can do to enhance the house, okay? Ribbon, like I said, you have ribbon, little tiny ribbon. Okay, I will tell you that at my age, you start to have issues with arthritis. I can't work with this ribbon anymore. I mean, I just can't. So if you can't do that, don't worry, neither can I. But I keep it around for other things. My favorite size ribbon is the 1.5 inch wire edge, okay? When you go, there's some certain things that you need. Okay, so let's see. I have one of, oh, here's one. So ribbon has a front and a back and an up and a down. Now, some of them, the pattern doesn't have an up and a down, but it still has a front and the back. You need to be aware of that, because if you have a pattern, there's a style of bow that you want to use for pattern. Have you ever been in a store and you've gone through and half of the bow was right side up and then the other half, they were upside down? That's because they used the wrong bow style for patterns, okay? So you got to be aware of that. Some of your self-made bow makers, those little contraptions that they sell, are easy to use, but your little gnomes are going to be upside down. So you got to be careful with that. And the other thing is the other size is the 2.5 or 3 inch ribbon. So if you're going to go big, you want to go big on your ribbon. And you can mix and match whatever colors you like on your bows, and we'll do a couple of each today. Also too, with your ribbon, I have 2 rolls here. This one costs $3.99. This one costs $5.50. Okay? They look about the same, don't they? They're almost the same width. The rolls are about the same size. Read the labels. $3.99. That is all the ribbon you get compared to that. Okay? When you're making a bow, this is going to make about 1 reasonable size bow. This has 4 yards in it. Yeah, 4 yards. This has 10 yards in it. Okay? Don't be fooled. They look the same, but this is actually a better deal for just a little bit more money. I'll be able to get 2 bows out of this plus extra for going around the ring. This, I'm going to have to buy 2 rolls to get it to compare to this, and it's still not even that much. So be careful and read that, because like for this, I buy one of these. Now it's wider, but, oh, where did that go? You can see it almost looks the same, right? Except this has 30 feet. Okay? So that little spool in the middle gets smaller and smaller. The rolls almost stay the same size, but the little spool in the middle is like your gets smaller and smaller so they can get more on there. Because this takes a lot and this is really tall. It's like 5 feet. So, you know, you're going to be doing using a lot of ribbon for that. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, now the fun begins. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is what I consider.
Speaker, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You said there's certain kinds of bows that you make, so the ribbon is not upside down. Is there a name for this bow or?
Well,
Style?
I really don't know what the names of bows are, but I'm gonna call. I have one that is what I call a classic bow that has this little buttonhole here. And then there's another one like this. It's called the half fold. And you have instructions on that sheet for the half fold because you got to keep your pattern right side. Okay, right. Okay. So before you make a big project, go and buy ribbon on sale and practice on that. The thing I like about wired ribbon is I can set here and do something, and it doesn't look right. You take it out, smooth it out, and start over. Okay? So practice getting your hand coordination, your right and left hands working together. And I'm sorry if you're left-handed, I don't know how to reverse it. So, and then before you start, make sure you're like, okay, I got this ribbon and I'm gonna use this pipe cleaner to secure it. Because if you have a big bow like that in your hand and you haven't figured out how you're going to secure it and you want to use this, you can't put that bow down or it goes, boop. Now you got to start all over. Okay. So have your supplies ready. All right. So the first bow we're going to learn today is what I consider the classic. It's got this little thing in the middle. It's really my thumb hole. So it's got that. For me, this is the easiest one for me. I can sit there and do other things, watch television and do this. I've been doing it for so long. And I can go as large or as small as I want on this. So it works out really well. Okay, so this has a front and a back. A random pattern. Okay, so we're going to do a classic bow in a solid color today. Now, one of the things I will warn you about is my ribbon rolls tend to hit the floor and roll. And that is because the way that you keep your pattern on your front, on the front side, is you start off with just wrapping it in a circle and you're going to hold it. So roll it enough that you're going to be able to grip it. You don't want it to slip out from underneath your thumb. So I normally come up at least to back up to the top and put my thumb in there and hold it. Okay. And then I got to get my ribbon on the top side up. So I give it a half a turn and put it there. Then I got to decide how large do I want this to be. So I'm going to go about like that. Now my ribbon is upside down, so I got to give it a half a turn and hold it. So you're putting a half a turn and then slip it in underneath that forefinger and thumb. And I do about an equal size on the other side. And I do it. Then I come down, and I like to vary where I direct, because I can tug it and pull it down and make a loop, twist and lift, come down on equal on the other side. Don't measure, eyeball it, okay? And then turn, come down. Then I come back to the middle, and that gives it kind of a little bit of support when you do these random things. Half turn, twist, pull that down, do another one, twist, and you can keep doing these until you run out of ribbon. Now, why is my ribbon on the floor? Because if you have this on the table, it tends to spiral on you. So I always have it on the floor because now the spirals are not in my way, okay? I have 2 dogs and it doesn't bother them. I used to have a cat, the cat would run after it, so warning. And then you just keep doing this and you keep doing that, right? All right, then when you get ready, okay, let's make a couple of more, twist, wrap. And this one, if you have arthritis, you need to practice this hold, because after a while, this may get a little tiring for you to pinch this the whole time here. Okay. Then I take this, and we're going to cut it. And I just cut it on an angle. Now, what's a bow without tails, right? So sometimes I take and I do multiples. I come out, I just gauge it, going, okay, how about like that? Okay, and now I want my 2 long tails. And I have an issue. I always like my point to the outside. So whichever way I cut it, I pull it down. And then it's like, okay, how long do I want my tails? I bunch it up, I put it in there. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. And now we have a bow. Take this, and this is gonna go in your thumb hole, okay? So you wanna eyeball it to make sure that it's about halfway, all right? And this is where it gets a little tricky. You're gonna try to come in here and pinch this side while holding it, and then pinch that side while holding it. And then you have it upside down. And this is the easiest thing for me to do is get my finger in there and start twisting it. About 3 or 4 good turns is all you need. Then you have your thumb hole. That thumb hole is really important. Okay, that secures it. Now I can take and move those around to where you have a bow. Okay. All right. We're going to do another one. So we're going to do another one of those. Let's see.
So Skeeter, if you didn't have a pattern at all, it was solid, it was the same
like this.
Away.
Oh, you
Which
mean,
way?
oh, you mean up and down? The only ribbon that you find that has front and back the same is satin ribbon. And satin ribbon doesn't hold. It will, you can't go big, you can do little, but satin ribbon has no form to it.
So you always have to twist, usually.
For the wire ribbon, because it has a front and a back, you always have to twist. Okay, so if you can find one that's front and back the same with wire, you might not have to, but you're gonna still wanna scrunch it, okay? All right, now with this, you can add different things to it. And another good thing about pipe cleaners, I have a number 2 pencil, okay? Like I said, I'm not big on spending money on things, but I come down and I hold about 4 fingers, and then I take it and I just run it through the pencil, then pull my pencil out, spring it out, and now you have a little curly cue. And if you wanted to, you could have inserted that in there before you tied it off and put a few different things on there. Or you can buy inexpensive picks and put those, sometimes I put them in front, and make that part of it. So you can enhance your bows with inexpensive picks. Typically, I go to the big craft stores when they're having their 75% reduction sales and buy different things that I like. Okay, so we're going to do another one, and let's see, what do we want to do? All right, this one has a pattern that is the same up or down. So we're gonna do that. And we're also going to incorporate a backdrop for it. Should have opened up these before. So we're gonna, and then I'm gonna use white again. Okay, my little sparkly thing. So we have 2 different ones, okay? And which should go in front and which should go in back?
White should go back.
White should go in back. So this one is a little bigger, and like this one has 10 yards. So when you look, there's quite a bit in there. So we can actually go a little bigger, and this one has 30 feet. So depending on where you go, you'll find a favorite store. So you're gonna wrap it again to where it is at length, where you're comfortable holding it and it won't slip out. Okay, and I normally do it about the size of my thumb, so I can get my thumb in and out pretty easy. This one here, we're going to have to twist it, but it's going to be a little difficult because we got big wide ribbon now, okay? And we're gonna go a little bigger because the ribbon's a little bigger, so we can do that. And we can do that, like, once again, making, and see how that's twisting up on me? That's why you want it on the floor, because you'll be able to undo that a lot easier further away. Twist it, hold it in. I use this finger to hold it against my thumb while I move my other finger back in place. Okay? We're gonna do a few of these, you'll get the rhythm down pretty soon. Your fingers will know what to do. All right, and there. All right. And one more. Twist and hold. Come up. And twist and hold. And I'm going to come out here and cut that. You know you have to have a clean floor to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start that off over on the side. I'll make the ends prettier in a little bit. Over there. All right, now come out even further. This ribbon is a little finicky. Can you hear the difference? Yeah. So now we just start off. We're going to do that again. All right. Twist, hold, come down, make your loop, twist and hold, twist and hold. Okay. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to put my nice little tails out. This one ribbon is really difficult to hold.
Is it wider than that other one?
It's got like a plastic coating on the back, okay? And that's why it's just a little bit more difficult. And then we're going to do a little bit more. There.
So does it feel like a big package in your hand now?
No, yes. And that's what I said. If you have arthritis, this bow, the bigger you get, the more complicated it is, you start to feel the burn. Okay? You do. All right. And then we come down, we do that, we come in, we pinch it. All right. Oh, I did it without dropping it. Now we're going to come in. What?
It's the small things that make us
It really does. And then we come down.
Did you just put your other thumb in there?
Yes, I put my other thumb in there while I get this piece around. So you're always going pinching. Yes. And then you pull it all back. And then you twist it. All right. So now, this is where it gets fun. Oh, I gotta cut that. This is where it gets fun. And you get to fluff. You get to position things.
You put that on your little dog.
Okay. All right. So you can just highlight and color coordinate. And now the reason I like pipe cleaners, now you have something that you can attach to a hook or to a wreath. Okay. And most of the time I am still fluffing and doing things even when I think it's ready. Because when I put it up like that, I'm like, oh. And I should have did a couple of more of the white. And that's what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so that is a classic bow. That is one of my favorites. And it's one of my favorites because that's the easiest one to add different things to, all your picks and little things. Because you can see here, I use silver pipe cleaners here, and I got the miniature balls and did some things like that. So you can do those things inside there. And where is it? Okay, this is a classic bow. And I use this when going up my banister. I have a 2-story living room and I put up garland, and everywhere the garland attaches to the banister, I have this. And this is actually using one big long pick in the back and then one going down in the thumb hole here, and then tying them using the pipe cleaner in the back. And then that goes on the garland so that it color coordinates with my wreath and my picks on my tree. So everything right there in my living room and entryway all match, okay? And you can make this as large as you want. So that's what you can do with a classic style bow, of making something different. And then I just took this pick, kind of bent it back to where it connected to that one and twisted them together.
How many different ribbons are you using?
In this one, 4. But they all kind of color coordinate. Okay, so I'm really not using more than 3 colors, but I'm using 4 ribbon. Okay, so I have the blue that repeats, the silver, and then the white. And that's 3 colors, and that's all I go with. Okay. And if anybody wants to, after the class, take closer looks at these, feel free. Okay. All right. So that's the classic bow. It's very versatile. Here, I use it as a card holder. Okay, you just make this tail extra long. You get the little clothespins at the craft store, and now you have a way to attach your cards. I actually had someone ask me to make one for their daughter for her birthday in her color, and did this so that she could attach it to her door and put all her birthday cards on it. So, and then you can also have one for Thanksgiving. My family exchanges a lot of cards. Okay, we do a lot of cards. And so we're traditional and still doing snail mail cards. So I like to display them. Okay, so the next bow we're going to make, I call this the half fold. Okay, half fold is when you have the pattern. Okay, let's see. We're gonna go with gold on that. All right. So this is also a little easier on your hands. Okay. And you need a ruler. So we need scissors, your wire, and a ruler for this one. So with the half fold, today what we're gonna do, okay, and your ends, you want them to be squared off. You don't want them cut on an angle or anything, so that it's more secure when we wire it. Okay, so if you're using a previous roll and it's cut on a diagonal or a dovetail, you'll want to cut it off on the flat square. Okay, so we're going to do this And we're going to make 3 at 16. Now, if you do different, you can make these the same length, or you can make them different lengths. But if you make these at different lengths, you want to keep them separated. Okay, so we're going to keep our 3/16s over there. And then we're going to come down and make our 18 inches. And this one also, you know how big, how many you want to do of this, and you can add it up to see if your roll is big enough. So that's the one advantage over here, because some of these bows, you really don't know how much you're using. Sometimes I have a plan and I'm getting low on the thing going, oh, one less loop on each side because I ran out of ribbon. I don't throw any ribbon away. Okay, if you look at my boxes, I have pieces, leftover pieces, because I might want to mix it in with something else or use it within the wreath. Okay, so now we're going to cut one that's a little longer, 22 inches, 23. Okay, this one is a little easier for people who have a problem with arthritis. Okay, these are my 18, and I want to keep them separate because we will be building this according to size. So this is called the half fold. Okay. So you want to turn this pattern down, and I like the wire for this because you need to find the halfway mark. Half fold, halfway mark, get it? And then you come over and you go beyond the half mark again and do the half mark there. And you're done. Okay? Turn it right side up. So once again, we're going to find the halfway mark. I just pinch one top. And then you're going to fold it a little past. I normally do about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch so that you have it. And again. And while I'm doing this, the pumpkin and the 4th of July red, white, and blue ribbon over there, that is the half fold style of bow. As you can see, there's no thumb hole. All right. So you're doing a lot of the work without for the assembly, without having to hold everything. I recently went somewhere and I saw this beautiful decoration, and they used this red truck, and the truck was upside down. And I was like, oh, they used the wrong bow style for the style of ribbon we had. And this is actually one that some kids can do. Okay. All right. So we got the stacks. Make sure you don't mix your 16 and 18 inches. And if you wanted to go bigger, you could do larger. And then we have our tail that's gonna be used. One of the things that we can do is we're going, this ribbon is a little thick. There are two ways of tying this. One of them is to do a trifold on this, but I'm gonna try it. I don't know how it's gonna do because this ribbon is a little thick. It's like a heavy cotton. You're just gonna come in and do a third fold. So you see what I did? I folded that into halfway and then I folded that in over it, okay? So, and then we gotta find the halfway mark, make sure I did that correctly. Our halfway mark. Okay. Now, this is the easy part. We're gonna take our sections and you just find the middle, make sure it's in your overlap here, and kind of scrunch them together. And then you're going to do the next one, and you're going to scrunch that one together. Put that somehow on there. If they get catty corner like that, that's okay. And then you're going to do your other scrunchie and do that. And this pattern really wasn't good for this bow because it hides most of it. I should have went bigger. But you're going to do the same here.
Put the bigger ones on there.
Now, in the back, you build front to back, smaller to larger. And then you put your last one in. You're holding and pressing while using your other finger to kind of grab a hold of it, okay? Then we take our pipe cleaner, scrunch them all up together in there, pressing inward so it keeps them tight, pressing inward. And I'm gonna do one turn. Then I'm going to take it and lay it flat so the back side is up. Now I'm going to take this, lay that down, and do one simple tie. Tie it real tight. All right. Once is all you need, and then I'm going to take the wire and twist it again to hold that in place. Okay. All right. Now you got an ugly bow. Okay. But this is where your skill at fluffing comes into play. So now, this bow requires a lot of fluffing to where you're moving them and I had one come out. So see, I didn't cut it long enough or didn't fold it enough or tugged on it too much. But this bow is easy that if you mess up, you can take apart and redo. So I'm kind of glad I made a boo-boo to show you that that's what happens. And you just keep putting 2 fingers in there and what?
I'll be going back to go.
Well, sometimes I take it and I make it an extra tail.
There you go.
Yeah, I just take it off. And I just keep going. All right. And that's basically what you end up with. Now for this one, if you didn't want to tie ribbon in the middle, you could just use the pipe cleaner and pipe cleaners, if you buy buttons on sale, seasonal buttons and things, the buttonhole in the back, you know, the kind that has the little loop on the back, pipe cleaners go through it real easy. And you can put just about anything on these, and then you can use that as your tie, okay? And there's all sorts of different things that you can use. You don't have to do the tie. You can just make those your bows. And then you can and we're going to just say, that wasn't an oops, I did that on purpose. And you just kind of fluff those up and get them to where you want. This is not one of my favorites, okay, but it's one of the must-haves. So if you have a big pattern like this, I would say bump up the size of the links so that you get to see more of the pattern. It worked out really well on the pumpkins, but with the truck, the pattern was just too big. So, and that's what I mean about practicing. They're not always wonderful products. And you learn from your mistakes like we did today. So yeah, it's beautiful ribbon, but I should have made it a little bit bigger. All right. And what we want to do is we can go through and do that one again. Let's see. Let's see what ribbon we want to use. No, can't use that one. Can't use that one. All right. Oh, that's a nice one. That one. Sorry, I'm trying to change my lineup. I don't want to go too wide on that. But we'll do that, this in the front and that in the back. We'll do this again, see what we can do. All right, should be easier to do with smaller ribbon. All right. Let's see. 16, 16, and 16. You want to start folding. For how to do it, folding. Sue, you know how to fold? All right. Okay. And then I'll do the 18. Fold in half. And then overlap. You done? All right. There's some more. You got it? Yep. Fold it in half and then overlapped it. Okay, so when you overlap it, you want to overlap it just a little more so we don't have what happened to me. Okay.
Like about half an inch.
At least. All right. Yeah, you really want to make sure you overlap it so that you have a good section in there. Okay. So you want to do that. We're gonna get our pipe cleaner ready. All right. So we're going to, these are 18. We're gonna do that again. We're gonna scrunch. We're gonna scrunch. All right. And we're going to scrunch. You gotta make sure you're in the center. And we're going to, now see, this is what I mean about doing something and you're not ready. I need to have a little bit more over here. Okay. Pick them up, scrunch them up again. All right. And sometimes it's easier if you just want to go on the table and do a quick whoop, pinch. If you're not comfortable doing it in your hand, you can just use the table as part of your pressure point. Put that on the back, and I already know that one wasn't folded enough. Okay. Down, down, and we're going to get a tail. We're going to cut. We're going to cut. Put that in there. Oops. All right. Now let's. I always like more tail. All right. Gonna hold it, bring it over, and do your twist. Let's see how well they did with folding. Okay. Yeah. Not mine, not mine. That's what I hear. You're gonna take your fingers and you're gonna squash them out. We didn't tie this one with something in the middle. We're just gonna fold these up so that you barely see them. See the middle anyway. And we're gonna come up.
I like the way you did that.
So then
You don't see the middle.
you don't see the middle. So you don't have to do that tie. And then you can gently just swirl those around. So that's what it looks like. So now the two-tone, so you can do that, okay? All right, so that is the halfway, okay? So not so good, better. We learn, okay. The next bow I want to show you is the flat bow. The flat bow is really nice if you want to do gift boxes and you want a special ribbon for your gift box. I also like it for centerpieces, and then you can come out and put different things underneath it, okay? So it comes out really flat for a table centerpiece. And you can make these as long as you want, as wide as you, I mean, you can feel free to experiment with these flat bows. I also do them, you know, the greenery that's just a spray of greenery. You put one of those in the middle, put some pine cones on it. Now it's not too deep, but it's perfect for like in front, you want to hang it in front of the mantle. So you can do all sorts of things with the flat bow, all right? So the flat bow is there's a couple of ways that you can do the flat bow. You can use all the same length, or you can vary it. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do is gonna be all the same length. Okay. And your length is going to vary however large you want it or small as you want it. Okay. And I have a box. Okay. So I'm going to do measure it according to my box. And I want it a little smaller. So, oh, that's about 8 inches. All right. So we're gonna do, so this is I call it the flat bow. Now, if you go and Google this, those names are not gonna be the same. I don't know what they call them. I just call it the flat bow. And we want to go about 8 inches. And you can do as many as you like, but it needs to be in sets of 3. Okay. So you can do 9, you can do 12. You got to do your multiplications here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1. 2. And 3. We're going to do 9, so you don't have to sit here and hear me count. Okay. When I work, people would say, you know, you talk to yourself, and I'm like, it keeps me straight.
It's when you start answering yourself back here and showing.
Yeah. All right. So this is our flat bow. Okay. And now, let's see. We're going to do the little Santa Claus with the black and white. Okay, so you've got to have your tie ready. All right. This one here, you need a little bit of room. Okay. So this one is real simple. You make an X, and then you put one across. You make an X, and then you put one across. And you make an X, and then you put one across. Is that simple? I mean, I love this. And then you take it and you crunch it up in the middle. Okay. And then we take our little snowman, our snowman button, and we twist it on. You can position him. So now we have a wad of cloth in our hand. Okay. One of the things I want to do is cut my ends. Okay. So we're going to do a quick dovetail. All right. Does everybody know how to cut a dovetail? Okay. So you fold it to where your edges are out. Then you cut from the edge downward on a slant, cutting into it. So then you have a little dovetail. And I'm going to quickly go through this, so they might not be exactly right, even. And yes, you make a mess. Now, when I do crafts in the dining room, I have to clean up my mess right away. But I actually have a craft room, and so I get to leave my mess. So, because hubby never goes in my craft room. All right. So we have that side. Then we're gonna come and do the same over here. I'll have to clean up, or Haley will be mad at me for leaving the mess. And you can go larger on this. Over there, the gold on the table, I went a little longer. So you just have fun with that. Okay, I don't know if I got all of them, but. And you can make this as large as you want. Okay, so we're going to decorate our box. Turn your box upside down. Okay. So if you notice, I have black and white checkered ribbon. This is about 3/4 of an inch. And this is like 1.5 inches. So for the box ribbon, you want it to be a little smaller. And then you're going to tie once, flip it over, okay, and then I want to slide pieces under, and then you're gonna tie it one more time. Okay. And then we're gonna keep our ends. So they just look like the rest of it. Okay, so now we have our flat bow. And we're going to just start moving those around. Okay, and setting them out. Just really just like you're spreading a deck of cards. Just keep moving them around. So it doesn't take long. See? All right, doesn't take a lot. And then you're going to come in, take your pipe cleaner, and you're just going to wrap it around this so that it's secure. And then put your, and you can so it's that went pretty easy.
Yeah, but the problem is now I gotta go Christmas shopping because I gotta start wrapping so I can start making my bows.
Right. You know what's really awful is when they open them.
I know.
And you're like, oh, that worked, I did. Oh. So you have to go, no, don't do that.
No, what you do is you make a lot of boxes like that that don't get unwrapped, that you can use from year to year, and they just stay underneath. I know how to not work too hard.
So there's nothing in this box, but it will go underneath my tree. Okay. Because I have a snowman tree. So, all right. So now, do I need to go over the flat bow again? Okay. We're going through this pretty quick. So next, yes.
I'm sorry. See this orange wreath right here? I've been intrigued by this little rose-looking item opposite the ribbon, the bow. Is that made out of the ribbon that you do?
No, it's not. I typically go to hobby stores and I buy stuff on sale. And you know those huge things of flowers? I go and cut them and separate them. And then I use them for my wreaths. Like this one, I just put in the middle of the bow. So it just ties it together.
I thought it was a ribbon because it matches so perfect.
Thank you. And if you notice here, I use different types of ribbon. It's because I was using up leftover ribbon. Okay, don't throw out your ribbon, because wire ribbon you can save from year to year, so it goes through. Now I want to show you the pick. Okay, so the pick is almost like a bridal bouquet. Okay, it's a whole bunch of stuff coming together, and you're gonna wire it, and you can have a center or you can just have ribbon. You can do as little or as many as you can hold, okay? And these are wonderful. I use them to fill in on my Christmas tree. This one is just the blue with pipe cleaners in the spiral that I made to make it look festive. This is a great idea if you do the 4th of July, because they kind of mimic the fireworks. Now, I just have my picks kind of squashed in here. If you are going to put this outside, you are going to want to wire them into your wreath, okay? And the 26 gauge is pretty good for that. It's thin and you can get it in and out. So that's what you can do with that. But the pick is really nice as fillers, okay? Or, as I said, if you want to, oh, I consider this my pick as well, but it's using the classic bun, okay? So with a pick, you also have the opportunity to use something like a 59-cent piece of Christmas decoration, okay? And you really don't want to use a pattern for this that has an up and a down, because you're going to be going around in a circle, okay? And and the other thing that I do with a pick is I actually use wire. I might hold it together with a pipe cleaner, but the pipe cleaner, I tend to use a lot more wire, because the thicker it gets, the more wire you're going to need, okay? And I always make my wire a little long, because it's easier to cut it than to go, oops, I ran out of wire, okay? So I get the wire and I cut it a little long. And the pick is real simple. And I have one wreath where I just did a bunch of picks close together, and it looked like one big okay. So what you want to do is, this needs a better. The ends were pokey. So with this, you kind of figure out what size you want. And I really don't measure, okay? It's like grandma's cooking. She never measured. Well, I never measure either. So what you want is you want to kind of fold it to where you go, oh, I like that. And then and I normally tend to cut just a little bit more on the bottom, so it looks like it's a 3/4 fold, okay? All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sit there and make a whole bunch about the same size. And for those who garden, you know what they say, plant in threes. Okay, so I normally make bows with the same principle of threes. Okay. So we have 3. I'm going to do an odd number. We'll go with 5. So plant in odd numbers. And this is wide ribbon, so it's going to be big. All right. Okay, so now we have 5 of these, and I have this. So what you want to do is you're going to get it, and I'm going to have this in here, and now we're going to start forming our bow around it. Hold it tight, scrunch up, and then go in whatever, clockwise, counterclockwise, it doesn't matter. Just scrunch it up and then place it. Okay, that one's a little long. So I do a lot of eyeball because I'm not going to take time to measure. Because I think my pieces got longer as I cut. And then do that. And then one more on this side. Over here. And so now, turn that around. Okay, so now, come on, right there. So now I have a decoration using ribbon and bows and a very cheap piece of holiday decor. And now it's in my hand. All right, this is the tricky part. You got your bouquet in your hand. You're going to come up, put a piece all the way down and slide it underneath your fingers until it gets up to the top of your thumb, and you got it. Okay, right there. And then you're going to go around the top of your fist and bring it tight. Okay, as tight as you can get it. And you're just going to keep doing that. And then you're gradually going to bring it down just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And then you can tie the 2 pieces together. And there you have it. And then you can fluff these up. Now, I did some of these for a neighbor one time. It was their first Christmas out for mom and dad, and she didn't have a lot of stuff to decorate. So we went and got ribbon and cheap picks, and look how big and colorful it is now, okay? And when that is sitting in a Christmas tree, okay, and if you have a Christmas tree that's kind of got big voids, those sit really nice back in the void of a Christmas tree. Okay, and now you can do multiple of these, and you've got a color coordinated Christmas tree that looks like you had a stylist come in and do it. Okay. All right. So we're going to do one more of a pick, and let's see, we can do some of this. And do I have enough of that? Yeah. So we're going to get our pencils, and we're going to come down and make us some nice festive things. Because you don't have to go big. And this is a great item for kids to do. Okay? Because who doesn't like making sparkler type things? Okay? And at Christmas, I put up 13 trees. I put up 2 train sets. Okay? I give tours to the neighbors that come through at Christmas and look at everything. And of course, the kids at that point want to do things. And the parents are really happy about it. Because they're like, yay! So, yeah, so if you have kids and grandkids and you want to give them something to do, this is the perfect thing to do. And we'll just make a quick one. Let's see. That's good. You can measure these if you want, if you don't want to do like me and have one that's real long and awkward and and the smaller the ribbon, the more loops you want to have. Okay, because it won't look as full. And then, as always, look for your wire. This is how my craft table at home looks. By the end of the day, it's like, all right. And we've got our 3 sprigs. Then we're going to come in, scrunch and hold. I'm going to put the flat side towards the end. Just go around and around.
Skeeter, if you were gonna have an ornament, like a Christmas ball idea over there, how would you incorporate it?
Okay, I'll show you. All right, let me get this. 1, 2. Okay. Christmas ball. Color coordinated. Okay. Color coordinated. Okay, so you want to make sure that your Christmas balls have a little bitty loop up there, and then you put it down in. And I normally do a couple of inches. Okay. Fold it down. And if the wire is not stiff enough to hold it, you go in your magic box and you pull out a stiffer wire. This is really stiff from the floral department. And then you can put that in. And remember when I said you want to have needle nose pliers? This is why. You want to pinch that down and make sure that it's really tight. And you can also, twist it a little bit and make sure there's no little pointy edges. And then you take your pipe cleaner and you're going to go just around and around to kind of disguise the green. Okay. All right. Now you can add that in there. Okay. Now, if you had asked me before, I wouldn't have tied it off, but I did. Okay. And then you just wrap it around. and then you fluff it out. Looks like a flower. But like I said, this is a bouquet, you know, a forever bouquet.
You ever put anything like that on a gift box?
The bottom is pretty hefty.
Yeah.
It's really not good for a gift box. But if you have a gift bag, this is really nice for just sitting on the top of a gift bag. So if you pretend this is a Christmas bag, and then you can take your tissue. Take your tissue, put that down in there, and then take your pick and put that on top of the gift bag. And so now you have that. The other thing with the ribbon is I have actually painted regular clothespins and then put my bow, a small bow on top of, wired it to clothespins, okay? Another good project for children, okay, to get involved, okay? So another way to put decorations around your tree, your fake gift bags around your tree to decorate and color coordinate, okay? All right. So, any questions? Yes.
Where are the best places? I know Hobby Lobby and Michael and all that, but you said you go to the outlets and.
I do. There's a place, Carol, where is it? Sure, is it Shirley's?
What was she asking? I didn't hear.
The best place for ribbon.
There's a lot of places around right now, Hobby Lobby is running a whole lot of stuff 50% off on
Yes.
for Christmas. But there is an absolute fabulous warehouse in Calhoun.
Calhoun.
It's Sharon's Flowers.
Sharon's, that's
Right.
it.
And it's
Sharon
It's
Stewart's.
not off the freeway, it's on Lover's Lake Lane Road. That's easy to remember. But she has the artificial flowers, and she also has this assortment of ribbons and findings and wire and everything. I mean,
And
it's
she has the
really a good place.
greenery. Right now, her flowers are all fall colors. But she does have a lot of greenery, a lot of artificial wreaths. And I got the red truck, and I got the leaves there, and I got this there, and I got the gnomes there. So she has a different variety. You know,
They will set up probably something like 8 to 10 Christmas trees. They
so
will set
they're
up and decorate with all, and this is where the florist people go, because it's a wholesale place, but it's open to the public.
it is open to the public,
And
and
this is where the local florists go.
and
and
they
find all their stuff.
they typically sell the ribbon that is in the 10 yards, not the 3 and 4 yards. Okay, so the price may be a little more, but when you calculate by yard, it's actually cheaper than the 3 and 4 yard rolls that you get at the hobby places. Now, I buy a lot of my stuff from the local hobby places, but I wait for it to go on sale. And I kind of have an idea that this 4 yards is going to get me 1 bow. So I know if I'm doing something, I might want extra. And I know that my 30 feet covers this one. So,
Yeah.
so it really depends on what your style is. At Christmas time, come around the end of November, there's a lot of other places that, like the pool place on
Now, it's up there off. of
Perimeter Drive.
It's-
Right.
And Cleveland has a place called Trees and Trends.
So when those
Is
places.
that still open? Have you been up there?
No.
Or is it still open? Because last time I went, they were clearing out.
I thought they just moved locations.
Okay, maybe that.
But I'm not honest, you have to check and see.
Well, no, I'll go with your answer. I'll check.
I haven't been there.
So when a lot of places start opening up and they put their Christmas stuff out, you can go there and get a lot of supplies as well. I've gotten ribbon from the pool places.
Yeah,
Is that on?
yeah, they'll have a lot of stuff there. Michael's will carry,
Yes,
they're all stocking it up
Right.
right now.
right. And then depending on, don't forget your pipe cleaners.
This is permanently.
They are,
The
they come
pipe
in
cleaner,
real handy.
you will probably have to go to an actual, on the lock or someplace that the pipe has. Ribbons will be different places.
Ribbon, ribbon,
Some of the other supplies you'll have to go by Hobby Lobby.
right.
Amazon has a bunch of like. Because, you know.
Okay, any other questions? Anybody need me to do another go to show you how to do it? Okay, well, I will be here for a while if you have any questions or if you want to try something, okay? All right, thank you.
I can cut us off. You ready?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, I'm just checking. Too late.